This is Bronco. Welcome to the Wally Report. Oh, that bass is fire.
Yeah,
You know
see,
I'm a
it's
bass
clean.
guy.
What did I tell you? I told you it's a
Ooh.
hot track, dude.
You got the metronome
See,
going
that's-
at the end. I like that.
Yeah, oh, that's funny because that's what Morgan J said that too.
You
dude.
hear like a
It's,
couple clicks there at the end.
Yeah, see, you guys are music Barneys. Okay, so listen, we're back again, baby, and this time we're gonna do it big. Not only has the shameful Christopher Devine gone back on vacation, but so has the dastardly John Gronofky. These two partnered up after the last episode and decided to take a nice holiday to Bali using their Wally Report expense accounts. Not clean. Luckily for the true TWR fans out there, we have a new co-host that is stepping it up and saving the day and bringing integrity back to the program. This guy is a DIT, a writer, a producer, and a director, and happens to be dialed in on the latest shows. He's also a big-time original Apple crew member, and he's genuinely a great guy. So please welcome in Bronco, Benjamin, Shea Mower. I'm saying it right. Bronco,
Ooh.
how are you doing today, buddy?
Oh, I
It's a
feel
clean
great,
intro.
man. That intro, like, that gives me chills, man. I feel that. Thank you, dude. I'm so thrilled to be here with you. It's been too long, man. We used to hang a lot back in the day, and now we're back at it, texting each other like every weekend. Did you see this? What the hell is up with this? It's awesome.
Well, that's what I've been saying is the report has been bringing all these old friends back together. Like that's what, yes, of course. I want to bring my knowledge
also,
of the industry.
don't shame people because we had that great scene together in that movie. It was called Rest Days.
Yeah, Rest Days. Thank
and
you.
And it
That's
opened,
clean.
the whole
yes.
thing opened with this awesome scene that you and I had. That
is it our scene that opens it?
Yeah, dude, it's fresh.
We need to rewatch that. How do we? Is there a way to watch it online?
You got to talk to Danny. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll hit up Danny. Who's now, of course, my partner on this podcast, which is real
Danny.
clean.
What up, man? It's been a while. Good to see your fingerprints
he knows you're
on this.
He was pumped. Okay, so you already kind of answered it, but let me just get it straight from you. How honored are you to join the legendary Wally Report co-host cast? You already kind of mentioned it, but let's, this is big time, right?
Dude, I'm thrilled. Yeah. I mean, I've been adjacent to it because I've been following you and your brother and your sister for a long time, and so I'm always thrilled to see what you guys are doing. But when you asked me to be a part of it, I was legitimately thrilled. I set up this sick podcast studio in my garage. I'm all in, dude. I got really into it.
I like the dedication and getting the setup correct. And I know, Carl, you're pissed right now. Don't worry, baby. I'll bring you on. Carlito, we'll bring him on for a music episode. He just doesn't know the shows, baby. Okay, like I had to bring Bronco because you're texting me about the shows all the time, and then I'm getting a lot of I'm getting feedback from the audience that are like, hey, what's up with co-hosts that actually watch shows? No slight to John and Christopher, but anyway. So no, thank you for coming on. So okay, the listener knows that we always talk about hot topics first. I'm gonna go with mine. I had something else, and then something last night crazy happened, bro.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes I like to do sports hot topics.
Oh,
okay?
dude, are we talking about what I think we're talking about?
Luka to the Lakers, baby.
Oh, my God.
Let's go.
God.
I mean, here's the thing. I am a little worried we have no big man all of a sudden. Is it going to be a problem with Luka and LeBron both wanting the ball? We don't have a big AD is gone. But we just got one of the best superstars in the game. He's only 25 years old.
Bro, something is rotten in Denmark with this trade. Something is wrong. Like, this does not make sense. A buddy of mine, we were texting about it. He's like, this is like Pelinka just thinks he owns a fantasy team right now. How did this happen?
I mean, so I've been reading about it all morning. The Mavs pushed for it because I guess, so here's the thing. The Mavs were worried that Luka's not conditioning himself. He's been getting hurt. They're not winning. And so they have Kyrie. But they got
Clay. Kleba too. They got Kleba.
Yeah, he's a clean shooter, right? Yeah, no, I know. But I'm just saying, like, so they're going to try to build and win now with Kyrie, with Clay, and AD. Okay, so I see. But AD's hurt all the time, too, so I'm kind of like...
He's Mr. Glass, for sure.
And so we just now, and then this is what I feel so good about it is like, I was always like, I haven't been a huge LeBron generation guy. Like, I'm happy we won one, but I
He's
feel
the
like,
best.
no, of course not. But
I mean,
of
I'd
course
fully disagree, but we
he's
can talk
number
about that
three of
another
all.
time.
He's number 3 of all time. Of course, it goes Jordan, then Kobe, then LeBron.
I
But I'm just
mean,
saying, all he's done and since he's been in LA is lose. Okay, we need championships every year, bro. We got one title during the pandemic, and the rest of the time we've got far here or there, but it's mostly been a disappointment. So anyway,
well, you're talking to
listen,
a Jazz fan right now, so
yeah,
you
no,
know,
I know you're a clean Jazz guy.
we
But
we have different definitions of what losing is, but it's all good.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm pumped on. What my worry was is we've been putting too much in the basket of a 40-year-old LeBron. Listen, I like him, but I'm saying he's fucking 40 years old. We now have the future of the organization, because I don't really think it was ever going to probably be a AD from the last 3 years. We can't win. So anyway, I'm pumped. I'm more shocked, right? I don't even know really what to fully think about it. I should be really excited. The only bummer is that he's hurt right now, so he's not playing for 2 weeks. So it's not like I can already trot him out.
Yeah,
we don't get to see him anyway. That was my hot topic. Yeah,
I mean, I'm with it. I love the NBA. Like I said, I've been an OG Jazz fan since day one, and I texted my friend. I'm like, oh god, Lakers fans are going to be insufferable over this, and here it is.
It's
like
so
the first
just,
thing that
bro.
happens is
it's so
dude,
clean. Like
they let Boston got that championship last year, and they were like, no way will they take more championships.
I'm pissed about it because they had. Yeah, I'm pissed about it. So now we have a path towards the future, and so I haven't even been watching games, bro. Like, I don't even watch NBA unless it gets to until it gets to the postseason. I'm sort of a lunatic, if you remember, about sports. I care too much about how my team's doing. If my team's losing, I can't even sit around the TV during it because I get too angry.
Yeah, me too. Like, I watch, Utah University, University of Utah football team is awesome. They had the worst year of their life this year, and I got so pissed off. Like, I physically got upset. I get you.
Yeah. So I had to remove myself. So now I'm kind of a crappy, more fair weather fan. Anyway, so that's my hot topic. I'm pumped. Yeah. I mean, I'm more shocked. I don't even fully know what to make of it yet. So what is I'll pass it over to you. Give me a Bronco hot topic that we can yap about.
Hot topics, dude. There's a lot of people that are wondering what's going on in the industry right now. I'm wondering why I have to pay for a streaming service, like the ad-free tier, and then I still get ads. Paramount Plus, I'm talking to you. I'm all in on the agency lately. I know you and I have been going back and forth on this. Awesome show, in my opinion. And every time I queued it up, I saw an ad for a Paramount show, and I'm like, guys, come on.
But what do you mean though? Paramount, I don't think Paramount Plus has ads if you're paying for the correct package. I watch it right now. There's no ad. I mean, there's no ads.
You don't see like a movie trailer before. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're showing you a movie trailer because I'll go. Maybe I have to go back and double check my subscription.
Okay, but maybe I just assume that's fine. It's a trailer. It's not like they're showing fucking Pet Doritos ads every 3 seconds or something like that.
But like that's my biggest thing about AMC. Going to see a movie to AMC is I'm like, if I book a ticket at AMC, I'm showing up 20 minutes late.
Right. Yeah. Because you can't handle all these previews.
It's so annoying. I don't know, man.
No, but I'm with you. The one area where what they've done with Prime, Amazon Prime, is they've done that now. Now there is commercials, and then they're making you up. Before there wasn't, and now they're making you pay to upgrade because you kind of got it free with your Prime service, and now they're like, we can't give that free to everybody. So,
and then now there's MGM Plus. So there's Prime, and now there's MGM Plus, and it's like, Uncle Jeff, dude, you gotta say enough is enough.
Yeah, that's the one your boy doesn't have. I don't rock the MGM Plus. I already have like 7 services, which gets into, I think, was going to be your next thing, right? Wasn't that going to be your next rant about how many services do you need or something like that?
Yeah, how many services is it reasonable to own? Because in my brain, I look for answers to problems. And one of the things is like, my wife, she's all about reality TV. I watch it when I'm with her. But I feel like they have room to segment it even farther. Like, you could buy just a reality platform streaming. You could buy like a comedy streaming, and then you could buy like an hour drama streaming, and they could segment it even more. But I don't know, man. It's getting nuts, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars now.
Yeah, because I already have to have, because I'm a sports junkie, I have to have DirecTV Stream, which I'm already spending over $100 for. And I'll rattle off the services we talked about. There's Netflix, there's Max, there's Apple TV Plus, there's Hulu, there's Paramount Plus, there's Showtime via Paramount Plus, there's FX, there's AMC Plus, Prime, there's Disney Plus, there's Peacock now that has good shows, there's ESPN Plus, and I know there's, and even Stars maybe on the fringe. There's a couple bundles. Obviously, we talked about before. I think the best one Christopher mentioned is what the Max, Hulu, Disney Plus. But sometimes you got to be careful with the bundles because then, like you said, they don't give you the full non-commercial versions, and then they're still expensive. So yes. So
in
to
this
your
economy,
point,
dude, in this with kids, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, you can't go to daycare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
almost have to have them all, sadly. But now you're right. You're spending almost a whole nother $100 on top of your regular TV. So if you're that I can't
these are
get
all
rid of
write-offs for you now,
guy.
though.
I know. I should. That's true. That's true.
They are. No, literally, they are.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking with Danny about that right now. We're getting the Wally report set up. We got to get that LLC rolling, baby.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And then you're right. Then that is a write-off because that's what my gig is. Okay.
How gratifying is it to incorporate yourself? How nice of a feeling is that?
Yeah, that's clean. Yeah, we're doing that soon. All right. Any other, those are your two hot topics, right? You're good?
Those are my two hot topics. Looking forward to seeing Severance season 2, man. It's like, to me, that is one of the best finales I've ever seen in my entire life. Season 1 was just unreal. And so, we're getting back into it. Season 2. It's been 3 years, dude.
Yeah,
3
Christopher's
years.
pissed. If you've been listening to my show, my other co-host, he's been super angry at the wait.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Stiller to me is one of the most underrated people in Hollywood. Like, I think that dude is a pure genius, and I'm not saying that lightly. Like, Tropic Thunder is to me the most incredible movie. It's a top 5. The satire in that movie is unbelievable.
So we're going to get into Severance. That's going to be a theme today for sure. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I completely agree. It took me a while. I was against it. And if you've listened to a lot of the Wally Report episodes, I was against it. It took me like 5 episodes. I was kicking and screaming. I was complaining. I was like, this show's weird. Christopher forced me to finish. And then, yes, you're right. It was one of the best endings ever. Okay. So let's talk about industry news. Serious stuff going on here. Okay. The first topic here, and then I'll splice you in and get your thoughts on a couple of these here, Bronco, I want to give a full official apology to the listeners. I was wrong. I didn't finish a show. I was I make my bold statements and I was wrong. Wally will be the first one. When I'm wrong, I'm going to let everybody know. Okay. I had sort of not denounced, but the last couple Curb seasons, I was like, it's like kind of silly now. The writing's not like how it used to be. Larry got a bit old and just so wacky. I'm just, what is happening here? And I still put it on my top 10 shows of the year. However, I hadn't finished it. And my co-host last month was like, bro, what are you talking about? You didn't see the finale? And I'm like, no. And so I got to say, I finally went back. I finished season 12 and the finale is a stroke of genius. Have you seen the most recent Curb?
I'm going to go back and see it. No, I'm going to go back and watch it.
Okay. So John, if you're listening, you were correct. John G, co-host. The scene in the courtroom is unbelievable. It was it was just like, it was like jaw-dropping. It was so good. It was for all the Curb fans. It basically encompassed all these different themes from all the different years. And it also it paid homage to Seinfeld. Because as you know, the Seinfeld episode, they go into the jail and a lot of people complained, like, what the hell was this ending? So Larry, and I don't want to give things away for people who haven't seen it, but basically Larry, he's at the courtroom. There might be a jail scene. They pay homage to Seinfeld, and then they do something different. It was amazing. I mean, awesome. Jerry shows up anytime Seinfeld shows up too. I love when it's Larry and Jerry, and I'm giving stuff away now, but you still need to go see it. It pumped up the whole, just because of that ending. Now I'm shooting that ranking way up higher.
Oh,
it was
wow.
it still was like, I'm a season 1 through 5 Curb purist. Anything past season 5 is not the same, but that really brought it back for me. Like, amazing way to end.
That's great. That's great.
Where have you got in through your your Curb watching? Like how many years do you also fall off?
No, I'm Curbed adjacent. Like I appreciate, but to be honest, like I never really got into sitcom TV when I was younger. So like
Okay,
I'm
wow.
born in '86.
Okay,
So we're a few
yeah,
years
yeah.
different.
Yeah, you're
But
way younger. Yeah.
I never got into, like, I didn't like Seinfeld, to be honest. I didn't like
Wow.
Friends. I
But
mean,
you
it's
must have grown up when you were a kid with sitcom. Like I grew up, it was '80s sitcom generation. You watched them all. That's just how it was through the '90s, and then yeah, I'm with you. After Friends, I'm like, I was done. Like I wasn't gonna watch one then.
yeah, Friends was whack.
Like
I think like when I really got into, I think the first show that I really super got into was The British Office. I know this might raise some
no, that's my
British
top
American
10 all
Office.
time. That's my
British
top 10 all
Office
time show.
is unreal. And Arrested
Yes.
Development. Those two shows to
Yeah.
me are like the two best written shows ever.
They're on my top comedies of all time. Good calls. This episode's going well, Bronco, with your opinions here. I like
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
I didn't really get into 90s stuff. I don't know, man. I watched weird TV. Like the only time I really watched TV is when I was with my grandparents and we would
Yeah.
watch we like in Utah, it was like Nickelodeon and MTV were side by side. BET,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon, MTV. So my sister and I, we'd always be watching like MTV or BET, which is what our parents didn't want us to watch. And then
Right,
we'd
of
flip
course.
to
Yes.
Nickelodeon and it'd be like Green Acres or some shit like that, like Nick at
Yeah.
Night. You know what I mean? I Dream of Jeannie. So I have a
Yeah, I mean,
weird, very strange childhood.
no, I mean, I guess if you're saying like you're 86, you did really miss. You're more my little brother's age, and so you
Yeah.
missed. Like, I'm a whole like 7 years ahead of you, so that's why at my younger age, Seinfeld was so big because so that makes sense. Okay, anyway,
I mean, I appreciate it. I think like,
yeah,
you know, it's funny. I get it. The
yeah,
physical
yeah.
comedy is funny, but the actors like Patrick Warburton showing up, like all those things are funny. But
But
I don't know.
okay,
It's just
but with that though, you got to give Curb a proper shake. Maybe you should go back from the beginning, bro. It's different than the original sitcom crap. It's
for
a
sure.
whole new evolution.
No, and I
if
like
you,
it because you get to see someone's neuroticism play out and you get to be like,
Yeah.
well, I wish I had the courage to be that big of a fucking asshole.
Yes,
But-
exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, this guy is such a fucking dick. Like, why is he like this?
No, but it's more, if you rewatch it, it's more the world is a piece of shit. And Larry's just finally standing up for us. Yes, he's kind of a dick in certain areas, but I'm telling you, it's more the world, bro. As
Societal
the show goes
pressure.
along,
Societal pressure is real, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, next one. New Righteous Gemstones Season 4, launch date announced March 9th. I'm a big, listen, I have some issues with modern comedy, which we're about to talk in about in a second.
I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear.
Yes, I have major problems with the comedy writing of today. But Righteous Gemstones is the one diamond in the rough right now. I don't know if you've watched Gemstones yet. It's Danny McBride's latest show with John Goodman. The
I
cast
saw a couple
is amazing.
episodes of season 1. Yeah, it was funny.
It's over the top. It's like offensive, kind of childish humor, but it's also amazing and well done at the same time. Kind of like what he always does, like Eastbound and Down. He always straddles the like offensive, ridiculous shock humor, but with really intelligent, mature writing at the same time. Weirdly, but it's to me, it's one of the most entertaining comedies on TV. Season 4, it's going to be the final season, and I'm excited because they just announced the date finally, March 9th, which is now literally 2 months away. I'm telling you, it's a good time. Yes, it's slightly immature and ridiculous humor and over
Danny
the top.
McBride, dude. Again, it goes back to Tropic Thunder. Like, he's so
exactly. Funny. And it's an amazing creation because and if you don't know the whole setup, well, you watched a little bit, but yeah, it's spoofing the preacher, the mega church preachers down south with all the money, and are they
satire
for real,
is my
really?
jam, so I'm gonna go back and look.
Yes. Okay. Here's another one that you're probably gonna like. I'm gonna kind of make a proclamation here. I don't like to denounce the writing. I'm trying to be a positive guy, but I gotta just. I'm unhappy with something here. What the fuck has happened to comedy writing? Is my here, and this is here. Let me make some points here.
Mm-hmm.
How do we go from smart. Like, listen, there was some silly stuff in our day, but I still feel like there was a level of intelligence, of smart humor. It just plain stupid now. I feel like maybe I'm older. Is it an age group thing where everything's written for teenagers now, and so we're feel like who are idiots, as you know, and or is it low expectations of the fans, so they're not driving, they're not demanding higher quality shit? I want to call it a couple things.
Well, I don't know, because like Shrinking was funny as hell.
So I'm actually going to say it's so funny that you say that, because I'm going to cite 4 shows that I'm calling out that are underwhelming. Shrinking.
Underwhelming?
I could barely get past 5 episodes. It's poorly written. It's just dumb to me now. It's dumb. It's not like the humor. I love Jason Segel, but it's just like, I just don't know. Like, I'm not laughing. Like, it's just like, maybe I need to go further. I just don't. Okay, so Shrinking. Nobody wants this. Was that new rom-com that everybody watched? It's also Alice, just so stupid.
Yeah, couldn't get into it.
Man on the Inside, everybody was raving about the new show with Ted Danson. I'm like, Bad Monkey, even with Vince Vaughn. I wanted to I kept trying, and it was just, and so are we that far removed from Wedding Crashers, from Knocked Up?
Yeah,
from
but dude, that stuff doesn't
from
play anymore.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah,
what do you mean it doesn't?
I mean, you can't go back and watch Wedding Crashers. I'm not saying the content
in those. Yeah, you can. I'm not saying necessarily the content, but I'm saying that they mixed in silly with smart. And maybe I'm just older and I don't get this generational humor. But it's like, okay, a couple exceptions, and then I'll let you go. Is Platonic, I really enjoyed last year, which was Rose Byrne show. And
with Seth Rogen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that I liked, because that was smart enough. I felt like it danced with the new age stupid and the smart. And Gemstones, for example, which is over the top. It's zany, but it's still very... So, okay. I just don't know what's going on. I'll let you go now. No. Maybe you disagree with me, but I just think that there's this influx of like everything I watch is just like, I don't like anymore. I'm like, what's happening? So you did like Shrinking. It got high scores.
Well, okay, so I like Shrinking season 1. I haven't watched season 2. My wife binged it without me while I was out of town.
Yeah.
Shame. But it is what it is. So I'll have to go back. But season 1 I thought was great. I loved how it just seemed like they were normal, like they were people having a human experience, you know what I mean? But if there's a gimmick, I'm out. You know what I mean? It has to be funny, and I think that's kind of when you talk about Wedding Crashers, that opening scene of Wedding Crashers where Vince Vaughn just becomes that character, and he's like, you have a little, and they riff, and but the content of those comedies, like you can't watch those late 90s, early 2000 comedies. That's like knowing what we know now,
bro.
Dude, I don't know. There's some
those are
definite
still amazing, dude. Maybe there's a couple offensive things in them. I don't know what you're talking about. That would still they're going to make a new Wedding Crashers. I think they're planning on a new one right now. They're still trying to put a Wedding Crashers 2 together.
Well, that'll put your theory to the test. That'll put your theory. But you go back we talk about the shows like that we brought up at the beginning, that I brought up, which is Arrested Development and Office. Right.
Great. Proving my point even further. Why don't those exist anymore? Brilliant comedies.
And even when you watch Ricky Gervais stand up, like he's funny. You got to have the ability to tell the joke, the craft of the joke. You know what I mean? And Morgan, like our friend Morgan, he's so funny that if you know how to tell a joke, even if it's offensive, like dude, Shane Gillis's stand up special was insane. And if you know how to take a joke, then it's all good. But some of these comedies are just, laugh tracks. Again, we go back to the sitcom thing. I was at a pizza place and Big Bang Theory was on, and I'm like, how did this show run for so long? Like, who's watching?
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah, I know. I don't like any of the sitcoms. I don't watch any regular network stuff. But I'm just saying, also all the current comedy movies. When's the last time?
Okay, I'll give you a good comedy movie. I'll give you a good comedy movie.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Dude, to me, I would say Game Night from 2018 is one of the funniest movies. How?
Hated it.
It's so funny.
Hated it.
Oh my God. What about the Fall Guy? What about the Fall Guy?
Wouldn't even watch it. I can't watch any.
Dude, it's so funny. Palm Springs.
I mean, game night. There was Palm Springs is the one, and if you listen to all, that's the one diamond in the rough. That was genius. That
Palm
was brilliant.
Springs is genius.
Yes, I'll give you that. But I'm just saying, like, dude, every year there was a bunch of great, I mean, all the Paul Rudd movies in a row. There was a million great comedies in that 2000 to 2010 to even 2015. Now I just don't know. Anyway, I know I'm sounding negative.
Yeah, now
here.
he's Ant-Man. I mean, you become it reminds me of that Batman, that Dark Knight line, right? Like you die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. Like you can't keep doing the same thing over and over. You capture that lightning in a bottle and then
right. But a game night is actually a perfect example of something I cite that I love Jason Bateman. I like the cast. I mean, John Hamm is in it. And it's just, they take what used to be really smart and clever to just basically really stupid. And I just feel like there was a couple funny parts, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a stoned 15-year-old anymore.
No.
That just will anything on the screen that they just say, I'm not going to laugh. Like, I need some intelligence and cleverness in the fucking writing. I don't want just shock value humor.
What about Barry?
Guy
Do you like Barry?
Yeah, I like Barry as a show. Yeah, but I wouldn't call that really a comedy.
What about Trainwreck? Did you like Trainwreck?
That was
Trainwreck's funny.
Was okay. That was okay. That was like watchable. Yeah, but that was like that was a while ago now though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple. I'm just saying overall.
The pandemic was a time warp, dude. Yeah, it was a time warp.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on. I wanted to be me negative all day. A couple other things. Robert Durst. You know I'm a big Jinx fan.
What a psycho.
There is a new Peacock is in development. I can't get enough Durst, so if there's more Durst, give it to me.
What about Fred Durst?
I like Fred Durst too a little bit. I wasn't, but not initially. But later, I did become a Durst guy. But only like in retrospect, like when Biscuit first dropped, I hated him because I was a rap guy. I hated Biscuit initially.
Interesting. Dude, that album was nuts.
And then later, I was like, oh, okay, wait, they're kind of good. But okay, hold on. Don't get me off track here. Okay, so Robert Durst, new Peacock special in development. Another new doc is coming out that supposedly is going to give a little bit more of like the female victim perspective and also maybe talk about maybe there's other murders we don't know about. I'm jacked up on it. You watched the Jinx back in the day, right?
Yeah, it was riveted. Are you kidding me? Dude,
yeah.
That was, I think the guy's name was Andrew Jarecki that did that, right?
Good work. Good. Nice pull.
Cow,
nice pull.
Oh my goodness, man. And then, when he walks into the bathroom and he's still got his hot mic on him. I mean,
that's the greatest scene maybe in doc history or TV history. I mean, that's a bold claim.
I mean, how many moments has a hot mic given us? The Stallone tape, right? We all know the theory of the Stallone tape, the legend of him like
no, I don't
just
know
the balls, just the balls. You don't know that?
I don't even know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude. Allegedly, legend has it that Stallone was wearing a mic and he must have been getting a blowjob from someone. And allegedly there's this rumor that there's a hot mic of him being like, just the balls, or something like that. I don't know.
This is good. You've just got us some good like social media clicks right now.
Hot mic moments, dude. Hot mic moments.
So, okay, here's the interesting thing. By the time this episode's out, my new true crime episode, it will also be out that's focused on the Durst story and the Jinx. So make sure if you're listening to this episode and you haven't listened to that, click over on the other episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so next big thing, I'll keep them rolling now. Uma Thurman has just joined. She's been cast in the new Dexter show, Dexter Resurrection. You're going to hear my thoughts later, but Dexter Original Sin has been a big disappointment. And then that's been going on right now. It still might maybe make my top 5, but that's because this month has been so dreadful. However,
why don't you like it? Tell me why you don't like it.
The new Dexter?
Yeah, tell me. I'm just curious because I worked at Paramount for 2 years and we did a lot of marketing for it, and so I'm
let
just
me
curious.
Save that for the top 5. I'll tell.
Right.
I have a whole spiel on it of why I'm devastated. It's really just not well done, and to me, you can't fuck up Dexter. It's a piece of my heart. Top 10 show of all time. You can't go fuck up Original Sin. So we'll come back to that though. But Uma is at least joining Dexter Resurrection, which is the additional Dexter show that comes out.
Dude, can I talk about something? Uma Thurman. So
Sure.
In my movie watching, there's a few points in a few different movies to me that are just mind-blowingly, I call them great good ideas. And in
Yeah.
Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction, when
Yes.
Uma Thurman is looking at John Travolta and she says, "Don't be such a," she does this,
Oh yeah,
and
the
then
square. Yeah.
Tarantino
Yeah.
draws it. Like that is
Yes.
incredible cinema.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Because it
Yeah. No.
takes, like, you're watching Pulp Fiction and then they do this little weird hokey VFX with the square, and it's just such a
Yes.
sick
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, what a clean movie. But yeah, anyway, anytime, like I'm just pumped on when you get someone good to join the cast, and especially how I feel about Original Sin. This hopefully saves, this hopefully resurrects Resurrection. Okay, next one. Ryan Gosling, now rumored to join the next Star Wars movie. Okay, this is
Oh,
big. I don't have dates on it. I think there's a director attached to it that also did Deadpool.
I love Ryan Gosling. I love Ryan
Yeah, I wouldn't
Gosling, dude.
say like I'm not like a huge Gosling fanatic, but I just him being attached to Star Wars, I think that's cool. Okay, so here the name of the filmmaker is Sean Levy.
Sean
He
Levy,
did
yeah.
Deadpool. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So there are the two people attached. There's no year yet, but it's actually going to be an official Star Wars movie. That's all I heard.
It's
To
gonna be
me, that's
canon.
enough to at least be excited. I can't.
Cool.
Yeah, it must be. I don't
Dude,
know if
let's
it's
talk about
yeah.
Star Wars. Let's talk about Star Wars for a little bit.
Okay, are you a Wars guy? You're not a Wars guy?
No, I totally am. Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay, okay.
So, man, I feel like my parents watch good movies. And
Yeah.
I know the exact moment I got into movies. I was probably
Yeah.
4 or 5, and my parents put us all to bed, me and my older sister. They put me to bed, and they're like, "We're watching a movie. It's R-rated. You can't watch it. Stay in your room." And I was like, okay. So I
Yeah.
snuck down, and they were watching Aliens.
Oh, yeah. But
Jim
Alien
Cameron,
or Aliens?
Aliens, number 2.
Okay, the second
Jim
one, just
Cameron
making
one.
sure. Okay, yeah.
And dude, I was hooked. I was all in. Dude, Bill
Wow, yeah, great
Paxton is
movie.
unreal in that
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, I love that flick. Because you were talking about Star Wars, so obviously
Yeah, right.
Aliens got you into the Star Wars.
Yeah,
into the,
so that's
sci-fi,
when
yes.
I got into movies, into sci-fi. George Lucas remastered them all in THX, like in the late 90s, right? And back in the day, you went and you waited in line to go see a movie. So I remember
Right.
going and waiting in line with my parents to see the remastered, say about remastered, whatever you will. George Lucas. I'll go on a rant about George Lucas if you want me to, but the dude knows good stories.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
another one of those moments in movies for me is the double sun. The double sun in on Tatooine. When Luke is like standing across that vista and he sees the two suns setting, like, oh my God, that image is burned into my memory. Like, that's incredible.
I like how you're bringing this new taste to the show. We haven't had someone skilled to bring in some filmmaking parts to it. I like this.
One of my biggest things about movies is like when you create scale. Ridley Scott in the original Alien, like you create just the size of the world. And the first scene of A New Hope, was it 1977? When
I think so, it's 77. Is
the
first
opening
one,
frame is just that slow moving of the Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
and you just see the size of that ship, dude. And it's so great. I love Star Wars.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big Wars guy, which that's going to be a recurring theme a little bit later in my top 5. All right, so that was just a quick one. A couple more, and then we'll get to our countdowns. I know people are dying for the new countdown, but there's a lot to talk about this month.
Yeah, we're having a good conversation. Just sit back and enjoy it. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Screw your top 5, everybody. The Apprentice was a great surprise. And listen, if for the listeners know, I'm mostly a TV show guy. I've been denouncing a lot of film, which you might argue about, but I can't watch. There's so much film I hate now. However, I watched The Apprentice recently, and I was very.
Give me some background. What is?
Oh, bro, it's on. So it's Sebastian Stan. It's the new Donald Trump movie. Stan stars as Trump, and Jeremy Strong is also in it as his lawyer, and sort of
Cone
mentor.
Yeah, Cone.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And it's like their performances are fantastic. I like it because everybody usually who plays Trump, they go over top with trying to do his perfect, like, exactly how he talks and is over the top almost comic book like way of speaking. But he does it more reserved because it's a younger Trump. It all takes place in the 70s, from the 70s into the 80s as he's becoming who we all know more as of today.
I've been standing Sebastian Stan since Hot Tub Time Machine, dude. Since he was Chaz, the like ski patrol guy. If you guys haven't seen Hot Tub Time Machine, that movie is so funny. And Sebastian Stan
one I'll
crushes.
give you that's near the end of what I claim is like acceptable comedy era. That one I still was like, yes, it was silly. It was like ridiculous, but I was still like, okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Over the top.
Yeah, but I still watched it and enjoyed it. Not like the ones today where I'm literally shutting it off in 20 minutes.
Great White Buffalo.
Yeah, well, what is that from that? I don't remember that part. I don't remember. Yeah.
Great
they
White
say
Buffalo.
That. So anyway, this is a must see. It's not like the best, it's not I wouldn't say it's the movie of the fucking year, but it was a great, pleasant surprise. We really enjoyed it. I think both of them are up for Oscars, and their performances are fantastic. And they're up for Golden Globes for sure. Yes. Okay, here's another interesting one that goes from a feeling and then into a theme that I don't know what your feelings are going to be on. Okay, so I went on HBO the other day, HBO or Max.
Yeah.
I clicked on, I don't care about the Diddy story like everybody else is. Like every 3 seconds, we got to fucking refer to Diddy. I don't give a shit about the Diddy thing because to me, he's not I cared about Diddy in 1997. Plus, I call him still Puff Daddy. I never called him fucking Diddy. Enough of this bullshit. So, because I'm a big ex-rap guy. And so, anyway, I know it's the
dude
new popular.
Made some hot tracks, but he's also a psychopath. But he made some hot tracks back in the day.
Yeah, so I just don't care about popular culture of commenting on it. Every comedian thinks they need to fucking comment on it every 3 seconds. But the new doc came out. It's on HBO. It's 2 parts. I said, all right, you know what?
Is this the one 50 Cent produced?
I don't think so. I think that one's maybe coming later because if he did, I hope he didn't because I'm about to tell you how disappointed I am. So I throw it on because I'm like, all right, I'll finally pay attention because actually the R. Kelly doc that came out a couple years was really
I saw that. That was wild.
That was amazingly well done. So I was like, oh my God, here's the Diddy one. Let's go. I like a nice scandal.
Yeah, Dreamhampton, she crushed that.
That was so good. There was multiple seasons and I lost my shit on it. So I assumed it's HBO. It's going to be high quality. And it was really disappointing. It was very poorly made. It was the people, I feel like it was just rushed out to beat other people to the Diddy doc, because every provider is going to come out with one, right?
Yeah.
And then instead of but my point is not just that this was disappointing. My point is this. What I've noticed over the past couple years with HBO is that I feel like they think they need to keep up with Netflix. So what they've been doing is they've been pumping out stuff on there that's not HBO quality, which to me has been hurting the brand.
And that's one of my biggest issues with Netflix is when you see a Netflix original show, it looks, and a lot of people are going to shit on me for saying this word, but it does not look cinematic. It looks very digital. It doesn't look like a movie.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I have my gripes with Netflix too, which I have another concept, but this is just particularly so what HBO is now doing is to compete in this binge culture world that we're all in. They need to pump out shows just as fast as Netflix is doing. No one else can do it and so what they've done is they've compromised quality. And this is a great example. They're pumping. I used to click on any HBO doc, any HBO show, and I'd be like, okay, this is going to be solid. I might not love it, but it was going to be solid. It was going to be well done. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I find myself
they
clicking.
set the benchmark. HBO set the mark.
Yes. And now I find myself like what? This is on HBO. It's almost like they're sourcing stuff from other networks and throwing it on, kind of like how Netflix does. And you're like, wait a minute, is this an original here? Is this just something they're fucking throwing on for more content? So it's very disappointing. So my thing is, HBO, stop doing this. You don't need to keep up with Netflix. Just take your time and make sure it's amazing high quality and stay in the number one ranked, high echelon provider that you should be.
Well, I think that's what Apple's doing, right? I think that's what Apple's doing is they're putting out less content and they're spending a whole lot of money on it. It looks really good. And I mean, there's a
There's
space for
also
just
disappointing stuff there too. I could go on a whole
sure,
rant about Apple, but it's
sure.
not all amazing. But yes, you're right. Like they're not. I think HBO is under the pressure of like we need to pump things out as fast as Netflix, and I'm like, no, you don't, dude. Netflix is sort of made for this younger generation top 40 binge culture. There's some good stuff, but a lot of shame. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was my feelings. Last two things, and then we'll
One
move
thing
on
that
to
I also
yeah,
want to
yeah.
say is like I wish that there was a way. There used to be a way, like a website called What's on Netflix or something, because I feel like there's probably tens of thousands of licensed shows on Netflix, and because of the
Right.
algorithms that they feed you, you see the same stuff in your like feed. You choose. So unless you go and you look for something specifically, I mean, dude, we're just barely scraping the surface. And I think there's got to be
Yeah.
a like a I know they had a random button there for a little while, but like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
got to be a way to do a like a shakeup.
There's got to be something. Okay, next one. Here's just another one. And I don't talk about film a lot, but I'm trying to like now that I talked about the Apprentice. Okay, here's another one just for that was very enjoyable that I was shocked by, is the Tom Green doc on Amazon Prime. I was
Oh
I
man.
was I was a Tom Green guy back in the day. I
Dude,
mean, he
Freddy
was sort
Got
of over.
Fingered. That
You like
movie
that?
is
You're a
wild.
Freddy Got Fingered guy.
No, I mean, it's an art film.
Yeah,
Freddy
right,
Got
right.
Fingered is an art film, dude.
Well, if you
There are
like that,
some absolute insane moments in that movie.
yeah, they bring it up a lot there. He actually made the doc himself. It's on Prime. I
Good for
recommend
him.
it. Yeah, and it shows where he is now. It goes through his whole life. And it was funny because there was all these big years that were crucial to my childhood. Like I remember when he was first on MTV. Like
Dude,
I
he
always thought
was
he
a
was a little bit.
pioneer. He was a
Yes.
pioneer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know if we would have Sacha Baron Cohen without
good.
Tom Green.
It's so
You know what I
funny that
mean?
you say that. I was saying that the whole time. I was like, oh my God, he's reminding me of the
Like
fucking
the
Borat
Ali
and
G
Bruno
was an
stuff.
extension of what Tom Green was doing.
It's very insightful that you caught that because I was saying the same thing. I'm very impressed, Bronco. Also, the jackass shit and all that other prank
Yeah.
nonsense stuff all
He
came
was a
from Tom
pioneer
Green.
for sure.
Yeah,
Although I'm an OG Canadian, I like the Red Green show. Did anybody watch Red Green out there?
I don't
That
know
was
what.
like some weird Canadian late night sketch comedy where they
Yeah,
all
yeah.
lived in this like weird cabin like out in the Canadian woods. Dude, this show was so crazy. You should see it.
Okay, and I'll put throw on the
I'm
list.
telling you,
But
dude,
anyway,
weird
yeah,
childhood, weird childhood. Red
yeah,
Green
that's
show
fine.
is
Yeah,
amazing.
I know Kids in the Hall, but that's I'm way older. That was like the Canadian SNL. Okay, so anyway, it's a good time. The one thing I will say is he was always over the top for me though. He's
Yeah.
like I don't like the over the top disgusting drinking fucking milk
Yeah.
puking.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
doing
yeah.
pranks on Glenn. I liked some of his stuff. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Tom Green fan ever, but it was still a good time. And it just goes through all these kind of memorable years. And he also helped develop the original podcast, which is what we're doing now. Because
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever
interesting.
seen the Joe Rogan soundbite online. Joe
Uh-uh.
Rogan goes on his show. He had been trying to do a podcast in his home, in his apartment, in his home in Hollywood. And Joe went on there and was like, man, this is unbelievable. If only you could monetize this, it would just be so fantastic. Like that's all on YouTube now. And then they bring it's like he got the idea from Tom Green to do the Joe Rogan Experience later. It's like a mind-blowing part. So you should watch it. It's a quick 90 minutes, which I don't like. I need everything 2 hours or longer. I don't like anything short anymore, but it's still a great time. Okay.
Dude, it's that famous
Yeah.
line, give me the same thing, only different. It's like
Yes.
somebody will figure it out.
Yeah. And so he tried, but he was spending too much money and they didn't know how to monetize it yet. He did it all the way back. This was like, I think they show it was like mid 2000s still. And he
The
was
dude's a
trying to do
pioneer.
it.
I think he's a pioneer
Yeah.
for sure. Again, I'm not like it. I don't know everything about the guy, but I remember watching
Yeah.
stuff being like, wow, this is new. This is something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, okay, last thing, and I know I'm being very negative here today. I should have been more positive for Broncos entrance. You're keeping it light and positive,
No, dude,
luckily.
we're doing good cop, bad cop right now.
Yeah, this is really clean. So another thing that's been driving me nuts, which is what drove me to have such a shitty month, I feel like, with my countdown, and then we'll get to the countdown, is, and you addressed this a little bit with your Netflix claim earlier. The issue is, it's okay, I don't know if you've listened to all my sods, but I made it very clear from the beginning, Bronco, that I only have approved list of networks that Wally covers. I don't watch
Tell
any
me,
regular
can you
network
list them for me
TV.
right now? I don't know what they are.
No, we did earlier. Okay, but I'll go back. Remember so Netflix,
Okay.
Max,
Yep.
Apple TV Plus, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Showtime on Paramount, FX, AMC, Prime, Disney Plus, Peacock, and ESPN
No
Plus.
stars.
That's it. And maybe stars peripherally, but but no regular networks will I ever
No
talk about
BBC.
on this show.
Did you say BBC?
Well, no, I guess you could throw BBC, like BBC One. I guess that, but sometimes that can be hit or miss too. BBC One, all right, I'll add that for you. I'll add that for you on the list.
I'm
But
a
just
British,
so you know, like
British show sleaze.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But like, I'll never be sitting here being like, did you catch the latest show on TNT? I'd rather fucking shoot myself. Okay. I won't watch anything on CBS, nothing on NBC. It's all back in the day. There's classic shows that maybe I would watch on a, regular network, but never today. So what's happened is, here's my gripe. Network quality shows are starting to infect the streaming services. Okay. This needs to be dealt with, is my claim. There's way too much cross-pollination now with Netflix originals, Hulu originals, but mixing with shittier, like bad quality regular network shows.
Can you
It's
give me an
starting to piss
example?
me off. The Night Agent on Netflix. I just tried it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm watching a fucking CBS show, Paradise on Hulu. I was like, I kind of liked it for 20 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Then The Recruit is another one that just came out that I'm like, Prime Target
seems
on Apple.
very network.
It's like,
yeah.
They're like, it's so I feel like what's happening is
it's like
anybody's just going to binge anything.
The Dick Wolfification of the streaming services.
Yeah, and so there's just not enough discerning eyes, and anybody's just going to binge anything. And there's less people that have. I need to have these step ups of, if you're a Netflix original, if you're a Hulu original, yes, it could be a comedy. It doesn't need to be a dramatic masterpiece.
Do you want to hear my rant on why this happens?
Yes, yeah.
As someone who has written, developed, and pitched shows to networks, my understanding is that it is a very risk-averse industry. And it takes so much time and energy and begging and clawing to get into the club that once you're in the club, you don't want to fuck it up. You don't want to risk getting kicked out of the club. And so, in my opinion, from this person trying to create spec shows for networks and comedy shows, and you pitch them and they have to have so much going for them. They have to be packaged. They have to have talent. They have to have distribution. Like it's insane what you need to have to make a show. Like it's honestly mind-boggling that anything gets made and then we watch it and we go, how did this get made? Like, who approved this? Right. And I think it's because there's so many of the same people making decisions and not any new people making new decisions as to what gets made. And that, I think, is why TikTok and YouTube Shorts and all these, why there's so much room on these other creator platforms for things to get made. And people are watching so much content on these other short form platforms because there's no barrier to entry.
I think the big takeaway for me, I like what you just said. You hit me when you said the safe move, because you know what I am also thinking is, they don't want to put something out that's really like going to be like a critical acclaim, but then not be like the popular with all the people. It has to also be somehow popular. And then that's my whole gripe on what happened in the movie industry, is they just throw out a lot of this top 40 nonsense that are not really great films anymore, because people they're going to put their butts in their seats on a Friday night and get popcorn. So I feel like that's what's starting to happen with the streaming services. Like, half of America doesn't care. They watch shitty shows. Why should we make them critically acclaimed level shows? Right. If everybody's streaming fucking Landman. You see what I mean?
Is Landman good?
It's okay, but I'm just saying people are like when I look at the streaming numbers, it's like 1.2 billion streamed, and it's like kind of the more shittier mainstream shows. So I think what's happening is these streaming services like, well, they don't need to be all masterpieces anymore. Let's just throw up whatever, and then half of America is just going to watch the new CIA thriller, even if it's kind of shitty.
I mean, I'll
Anyway,
watch it.
okay.
I love spy thrillers, dude. I
So
love
you
them.
might like some of these, and I'm hypercritical, but I'm doing this for like a living night and day looking at this, and I'm having more and more trouble. Like I used to be like, okay, if it's an original somewhere, it's gonna be decent. And now I put on some of these shows, I'm like, dude, like I literally am shutting them off in 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Final thing I'll say, the last thing to it
Well, hold on. Before
is,
you move on, I just
yeah,
want to say to
yes,
your
yes,
point, there has to be. So I'm a huge James Bond fan. I think it's an incredible, incredible like anthology. And at the
yeah,
beginning of every James Bond movie is the MGM roar, the lion roar, right?
yes. Okay, I like that. Yeah,
And at the top of that crest, the MGM crest, it says Ars Gratia Artis. And that means art for art's sake. And
yeah,
that means something. But
yes.
like, and you're doing it, you're creating something and finding viewers. And we have to remember that we're creators and we have to create stuff and just do it because it's fun and somebody's going to like it. And you got to just find your audience.
Yeah, no, I like that. I wish that we could get more shows that were super high quality. Okay, so final thing I'll say that's also furthering along this problem is fucking Rotten Tomatoes is also giving some of these regular network shows high scores, and then it's sort of furthering the issue because now I'm like,
It's
dude,
inside baseball, dude. It's inside baseball.
I'm like, because they're almost rating it for what it is. Like, if it's just they're not being like hypercritical and everything. They're sort of like, well, okay, it's just supposed to be a CBS nighttime drama, and so they were going to give it an 80% because that's like what it was supposed to be. But I'm like, it's basically like a food critic going. And listen, I love McDonald's, but it's basically like a food critic going to McDonald's and then just rating their food as high as a fucking Michelin star restaurant. And I'm like, yeah, I
Sure.
like a fucking McNugget, but I'm not going to give it the percentage I give to this whatever dish at La Croûteau or whatever the fuck. You see what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I think that's the fucking problem. So I'm a tomatoes guy, and they're my guide, but they're also screwing me because they're saying fucking Night Agent and Paradise are high level scores. And I'm like, bro, I could barely get through 20 minutes of them.
The only thing, I mean, and I don't know any film critics personally, but what's the base that we're rating it off of? You know what I mean? Like, what is the level of knowledge you have to have about the craft to make this rating? Like, who's saying that Elementary is good? And what are you basing that on?
Yeah, who are they? Who are the people that work at Rotten Tomatoes that are actually giving these scores? What are their exactly.
What's our
their
baseline?
Background?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is how I feel that when I rate shows, this is what I look at. Overall enjoyment, excitement, emotional investment, got to be there.
Mhm.
Acting, 2.
Mhm.
Writing, 3.
Chemistry.
Cinematography. Yeah, I mean chemistry with the actors. Yes, yeah. Cinematography, groundbreaking camera work, editing, CGI could all be melted into something that like I look at. I don't know if I care about as much as the enjoyment, the acting, the writing, but it's there.
Can we talk about that camera shot at the beginning of season 2, episode 1 of Severance? That follow shot of Adam Scott through the hallways.
Oh,
and like
yeah,
how they would whip it and flip it. And I was watching, I'm like, how are they doing I was like, that's a talented Steadicam. And then they flipped it. I'm like, how'd they do this?
Yeah, no, so there you go. And then the world creation. Did they create this amazing world that has tone, that has
Black
a sense
Doves,
of feel?
Peaky Blinders.
That has like a great art direction, so it has like a certain style and a feeling.
Yeah.
Was it insightful? Did you learn new things? Because sometimes, we're watching these to also get like, we don't know how things are going on in Denmark right now or in like the world of plumbing or like whatever. And sometimes shows are bringing us insights into worlds that we don't know about, right?
Yeah.
Are you dying for the next episode? How gripping is it to where you're like, fuck, like, and that can be like a device, but that also can be a quality of a great show.
Yeah.
And then, yes, there is a little bit of taste and preference. There's a slight bias from person to person. And then the final thing I'll throw that at is the rewatchability. How much are you wanting to get with your friend or your partner or your husband or your wife and be like, oh my God, holy shit, we all let me rewatch this.
Yeah.
Right? So those are my criteria.
Yeah.
That I'm looking at. I don't know.
I like that. That's a great list. That's a great list.
Do you like that list?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now you're up to speed. Okay. Let me get back to our This is clean. Bronco's getting real dialed in with how the Wally report operates.
I mean, you and I talked
Okay.
about this over text, but like the Mr. and Mrs. Smith show, right? Which to me was
Yeah.
really fresh. And like Donald Glover, man, that dude is
Yeah.
talented. Like I love what he does. But the chemistry was so weird. We're like, how these characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like the show, but
Yeah.
there is a certain criteria that goes into it for sure. If you haven't seen Mr. and
Okay.
Mrs. Smith, it's one of my favorite shows of the last few years. You should check it out.
Yeah, I like it. It was on my top 10. It was on my top 10 of the year. I wouldn't say like I wasn't over the moon, but it was good. It was good. Okay, one thing. So let's do a quick break from our sponsor. And we're back to the show, baby. Okay, so we're finally at the top 5. This will be interesting because we've had some great back and forth here so far today. Oh, God, man, I wish I had just better news for my guy Bronco coming on here, and I'm going to try not to be as negative as possible. But this is probably, since we've been doing the show, the worst month in the Wally Report history of great shows.
Interesting.
So I'm going to start at number 5. American Manhunt, O.J. Simpson doc on Netflix, because you know I'm a true crime guy. If it's on there, especially something as gripping as the O.J. Simpson story, the original ESPN doc is one of my favorite sport docs of all time.
How about that tweet when he died? Somebody tweeted the juice has expired. That's like all time, dude.
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't think I saw it. But yeah, that's all time. But that's why this came out. There's probably a race for new OJ docs because he just died recently. Christopher, our other co-host, did bring up, oh, I bet you they're going to race to this. So that's all this really is. There's no tomato meter yet. There's no popcorn meter. There is, and I'm giving it just a lowly 66. It was like, because it's not that well done. I got to say, it's sort of like it's just basically thrown up there. It's been quickly pumped out. It's to try to beat the rest of the streaming services, and they did. But it wasn't, I'm not saying this is definitely not the Last Dance quality of docs here by any means. It's not the Jinx. You expect more from being the OJ story because the ESPN doc was legendary. It just seemed that Netflix wanted to beat everybody else to the punch. But I will say that, and I've only watched one episode of the 4, so I'm still going to, of course, blast through. I will say that because I love the story so much, because it's so riveting, that it just still was an acceptable watch for me in this day and age. I'll put up with crappier shows if it's a doc on a subject that I love, because I'm like, all right, fuck, I need, even if they give me something new about it or just reliving the moments of it. And I definitely found myself enjoying myself as the doc went along. It started off being like, oh my God, who the fuck made this? And then eventually but it's because the original one had such a high level that you can't just put out like a shitty OJ doc. It's like, it's too big of a topic to just have it to be your random run of the mill. You know, Netflix pumps these out every week. There's a new fucking true crime doc on there. So yeah, go ahead.
Did you watch the Greatest Night in Pop doc?
No.
Oh, okay. I wonder what you would rate that. Are you into that?
I don't even know I don't know what you're flapping about.
You should check it out. I'm sidebarring that, but you should check it out because I'd be curious what your score is on that. It's about We Are the World.
The We Are the World song. Oh, yeah. I think I remember that popping up. I'm like, I'll watch that. And,
it's cool. I like it.
Okay. All right.
I feel like it meets your criteria too.
Okay. So that was my number 5. Let's move on because I'm just not that thrilled. I mean, listen, if you love the OJ story, you're a true crime junkie, throw it on. But I'm warning you, it's not that well done. Because so many of these come out, you can also see how high quality docs versus lesser quality docs, and just the production, the interviews, the editing, the even just the editing in this, like they make it almost like these cheesy sounds and transitions from scene to scene, and I'm like, what's going on here? It just, it was just like kind of like graphics that they're putting on. I'm just like, what is going on here? Am I watching this on fucking A&E, or am I watching this? You know what I mean?
You have to respect the craft, man. You have to respect the craft.
That's what I'm saying. So, okay, number 4 show of January 2025, Dexter: Original Sin. I'm very unhappy to have this on my list. This is a Showtime show. If you want to stream it, it's on Paramount Plus. Right now, the tomato meter is giving it a 68. the popcorn meter, which is the audience score, is giving it a 75, and I'm more inclined to, even though I bash the tomatoes a lot, I'm dialed in with them. I'm giving it a kind of a lowly 67, right below the tomato meter. It stars Patrick Gibson as Dexter. He's doing a solid job. I don't dislike him as Dexter. Michael C. Hall, still the internal voice of Dexter, and so you get
That's
that
cool.
for the
I
original
like that.
Dexter
I
fans.
like that.
That you like. Christian Slater playing his dad. He's doing a pretty good job. He's
Dude,
doing
Mr.
a good job.
Robot. Oh my God. Sorry. You said
No, I
Christian
was a
Slater, and I
robot
just
guy.
thought about Mr. Robot. That first season
Yeah.
was incredible.
So that's all somewhat solid. Okay, but I gotta just say, like, okay, I have a couple notes here. Honestly, it's a very disappointing series. I mean, I'm only powering through because I'm a Dexter fan, and you know, there's a big enough drought in January for this to happen. And this is where I want you to come in on this. I'm not an industry expert like you, Bronco, but it seems to me that Paramount is ruining the integrity of Showtime series. So Showtime, you know, used to have its own, you know, obviously production. Now they have packed, they're partnered with Paramount, right? So all of the Showtime shows, you can only either watch them on cable live or streamed through Paramount Plus. And I feel like because
as
of
an
this
additional fee, not for original Paramount Plus plus Showtime.
Yes, correct. I'm just saying that there's no more Showtime anytime. You can't get it by itself anymore. You can only, so that must mean that Paramount owns Showtime, and and I think that what they're doing is they're meddling with their shows. Okay, so it's not Showtime used to be on the level of HBO for me for many, many years. We've had great Showtime shows over the years that were like, I was always going back and forth from, you know, HBO maybe just leading, but there'd be great Showtime shows. And now, since this new merger or whatever the hell it is,
wasn't Californication on Showtime?
Exactly. There's another Showtime classic, Californication. There's been many, many great Showtime shows. My guess is that, so there's, to me, listen, I like a couple Paramount Plus shows. You know, The Offer was one of my faves, but fuck, man. I think there's just this sleazy element to Paramount with all the fucking Taylor Sheridan shows of the fucking, and it just, and so I think that's rubbing off now. Like, have you watched any of the new Dexter yet before I make my other
I've not,
claims?
no, you know,
Okay.
that's a show that I missed, but I would follow because Michael C. Hall, obviously one of my favorite actors, Colin Hanks, you know,
Yes.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Paramount's an interesting company. I worked there for 2 years. I really love the people that I worked with. They gave the keys to Taylor Sheridan, and I think he's a talented guy. Hell or High Water, incredible. Wind River, incredible.
Wait, hold on. What did he do with that? Did he produce or direct Hell or did I miss that? Because I did like that
He
movie.
wrote and directed Hell or High Water.
Oh, wow.
Dude,
yeah,
Sicario, incredible. Like, the dude is so talented. Like, knows what he's doing. But again, you know, now I think he has like 15 shows on Paramount. So
it's almost too much.
Even The Agency, which I really liked, was a co-production with his 101 Studios. So, you know, it's like, I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
There's just a little bit of this, like with Yellowstone and Landman and fucking Tulsa King now going downhill. There's a sort of a sleaze regular network.
But this takes me back to The Office UK. The UK Office, 2 seasons. Right. Because if you go farther than that, you become a caricature of what you're doing, right? Like Yellowstone by now is a caricature. It's like the Marvel movies. You can only end the world so many times before we're like, oh, the world is ending again? Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Who's going to save it?
I'm with you that I get but I still just feel like even if a lot of the new stuff, even the first season, like I can barely get through Landman. I can't watch Lioness. It's basically, I feel like I'm watching a CBS fucking show. And
I couldn't do Lioness. I couldn't do it.
Taylor Sheridan, who I like, and I loved 1883, but 1923 was so
I was like,
really
good. 1883 was great, really good.
Really good. If people haven't seen that,
really good.
So my point is, I think what's happening is, and the only reason, because this is why I wanted to ask you, what have you seen? The writing, not good. The production value, not good. The acting in certain areas by certain actor, not great.
I have a theory. The more executive producers on a TV show, the worse it is. That's my theory. Because they're so top heavy. And when I say top heavy, I don't know if, like, they're making, I'm going to conservatively say that every executive producer is making $30,000 to $40,000 per episode. So when you have
Right. Okay.
10 executive producers,
Yeah.
it's just too much. Like, it's so top heavy.
I got you. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
there's
I
something
like,
going on. Yeah. And I'm just hoping to God. And so I'm hoping to God the new Dexter series that comes out in the summer does also not get destroyed. Michael C. Hall is an executive producer. Let's hope he wrangles that and steers that in the right direction. Listen, for folks that are not as critical as me and they don't mind just run-of-the-mill shit and they're just obsessed with Dexter and they want Dexter, you still get the Dexter antics. You still have the Michael C. Hall interior dialogue, right? You still have the Dexter backstory that the show is exploring. So there's still some good time, but I'm just saying, do not come into it thinking it's going to be the Dexter of old. And I've been kind of sad about it.
Jackson.
So, number 3 show of January 2025, baby, Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus.
I would watch Jude Law do anything. I love Jude Law.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get 92% on the tomato meter, 80% on the popcorn. Yeah, very high.
Whoa.
I'm gonna give it a dismal 68%.
Yeah, and that's a huge discrepancy, dude. You gotta explain that. That's a huge discrepancy.
Because this is my point. Tomatoes now is judging shit, I think, on just what it is. They know, like, here's the thing. It's pretty fun. I feel like at first I liked it. I was watching Star Wars mixed with Stranger Things, mixed with Goonies. Why? That sounds great, right? And of course, I'll watch anything Star Wars, which is we were talking about earlier. Okay, I never miss any Star Wars series. The only one I've never finished since Disney Plus has taken over is The Acolyte, which I was also disappointed in. But here's the issue.
Did you like Obi-Wan?
No. I thought it was very disappointing.
But you watched it.
I was devastated. I watched every bit of it, of course, but I was like, to me, but I had such high expectations. That was me.
Did you watch Gentlemen in Moscow with Ewan?
No.
That was good. I like that.
No, I did. It was on my list and I didn't get it to. I didn't get to it.
I liked it.
Okay.
Well, because we're talking about Ewan McGregor, I know I skipped there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So here's the thing. It starts off decent. Then the show quickly takes a disappointing turn. It's really made for kids. It wasn't that great. To me, it was a miss. It was disappointing. Even the kids, like you think about Stranger Things, and you love all those actors. Even these kids, like, they were okay, but none of them are. I mean, it's really Jude Law steals the show. If he wasn't in it, I wouldn't even be like, it wouldn't even be on my list.
He's an anchor.
So
it's like Alec Guinness in the original Star Wars, dude. You had to have that British gravitas. You know what I mean?
God, this one especially. If you watch anything Star Wars, fine, the show is for you. It's kind of made for kids. I just
give me your Rogue One feedback.
Disappointing.
Rogue One, really interesting.
Nah, I mean, I know there's like the critics supposedly liked it. Maybe I need to rewatch it, but I kind of remember thinking I was underwhelmed the whole time.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, kind of like, what? I mean, I liked that they were telling the story. I mean, maybe I need to rewatch it because I know people are like, oh, I loved Rogue One, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? Anyway, so it gets great scores, but I just don't want my name on this. I'm putting it as a number 3 of show of the month. The only reason it's there is because January was so horrific that I had to put on a show that at least I enjoyed, that I could even finish, and I gave it a dismal 68. Have you been keeping
That's
up on
a huge discrepancy between the tomato meter and you.
Yeah, that's fine, but listen, that sometimes happens.
I like it. No, I like it. I like the confidence for you to stand out and just be like, no, this show is whack.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it.
I have a show that I got really invested in this year. Just came out. So one of my top shows in January that I was super pumped on was Cross, right? Amazon. Okay. They've been doing the Bosch series. It's the same guy who wrote Bosch and Lincoln Lawyer. And I was into it. It was cool. Set in DC. They created a world. They had an incredible villain and they were sparring. It was like really great for the first few episodes. And then I will say
fell off.
Endings are hard. Endings are very hard.
Yes.
But they completely sabotaged this series. And
wow.
Yeah, I was easily putting the show as like 80, 85. And then that last episode, I'm like, this is not a passing grade. I would return this homework. It was just so outside, like, the suspension of disbelief by the end of it.
So I'm glad that you actually chimed in, because right here, when I got past my number 3 show, I was actually gonna to ping pong it over to you. Did you have any Bronco top 1 or 2, or like a top 2 to 3 show quickly that you want to like? Did you bring any countdown shows that you want to talk about briefly before I get to my number 1 and my number 2?
Yeah. So one that I talked to you about this last night is CB Strike, which, you know, the woman who wrote the Harry Potter books wrote these detective novels under a pseudonym, and then Cinemax created them, and now they're under HBO. But they're good. They're 4 episodes, so it's kind of like a long movie, like a 4-hour movie. But I'm in. The characters are great. They have amazing chemistry. It's like a terrific will they, won't they. There's always something getting in the way of the characters banging, which is like a lot of this, you know? So, I like
actually
it.
put it on my list. I
cool.
think that it looks kind of decent. It's just that I got to get through so many seasons. So I'm like, fuck. Okay,
and J.K. Rowling, like, she can write stories. Like, that chick knows how to write a good story. So you should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's well made. Takes place in England. I'm a huge, like, if it's a detective or a spy thriller set in England, I'm in.
And did you say it's on Max, right? Did you say that and I missed it?
It was originally produced for Max. No, sorry. It was originally produced for Cinemax, which I don't think exists anymore. And now it's on HBO Max. Max now.
Yes,
it's confusing.
Max, yeah. That's fine. Okay, and just so I know, just so it's clear, was that your top show of the month? Or was that like a number 2 or a number 3?
No, it's just another one that I've seen.
Yet, if you don't want it, okay.
Well, I think right now my top is for sure your top. I think we talked a little bit about
both
that.
Probably
so
getting
I'll let you take that on.
Okay,
and then I'll chime in.
Yeah, so that was more like your number 2 show, would you say, if you had to rank it? Of the month for the Bronco.
Yeah, I like it.
Two?
I'm totally in. It's good. You guys should check it out.
Okay, well, you're gonna like my number 2 because you enjoy this way better than me, and to me, like I'm losing sleep giving this a number 2.
Nice.
I mean, like, holy fucking hell.
No, this is a good series.
Oh God. Okay, so the number 2 show of the month, which I'm embarrassed to say, is The Agency.
It's
on
good.
Showtime via Paramount Plus. But here's the thing: to back me up, check this out. 68 on the tomato meter. 77 on the popcorn, though, so the audience likes it more than the critics. I'm giving it a 69. And I was much lower before. The only reason I'm finally giving it a 69 is because I got to like through episode 5, I believe, last night, and I was like, all right, okay, it's finally coming along. If this show had been like that from the beginning, I would have liked it.
Right.
But it was like this. It was the fast bender internal monologue. Stuff was finally happening with the spy, you know.
Have you seen him in the hospital bed yet? Is he in the hospital bed?
He's being interviewed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, dude, you're going to like it. I think that score will raise by the time you get to the end. I really liked it.
Okay, so yeah, it's for the audience, and I've had this on my show the last 3 months, reluctantly, but it's been a semi-decent CIA thriller with Fassbender, with Jeffrey Wright, with Richard Gere. The cast really is the best part, but maybe you're right. Maybe I'm probably going to watch one more because the last one started getting good. I'm like, all right, I can fuck around with this.
Don't forget Catherine Watterson. She's awesome.
Which character is she?
She's I didn't have all the... She's the woman who's talking to Fassbender in the like Skypes,
interviewing him.
She's also training the other young spy.
Oh yes, yeah. She's decent. Yeah.
I think it's Sam Watterson's daughter.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So the tone and the way things are shot are decent, you know, and it's getting better. But you know, it's still not even as in the 70s to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're gonna get 70s. But
I think
let me get your take on it. Let's get your take on it now for the audience.
Yeah, I mean, originally, I don't think it's Richard Gere's best acting. I think they kind of gave him a role that he did the best, that he made great because he's Richard Gere and he's an OG. If you guys haven't seen Internal Affairs, Richard Gere is terrifying. That movie is terrifying. Anyway, so Richard Gere does all right. Jeffrey Wright has, you know, you learn about these people, and then to see what Michael Fassbender does eventually by the end of the series.
Yeah.
That's why I like it too.
The final episode's already out. It came out, and I'm just not caught. Okay,
it just came out last Friday.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Listen, if I was a just guy, I'd be caught up. So that's why I like that you're helping the fans be just here.
Yeah, and by the end, like endings are hard, and they had a lot hanging out by the final episode. My wife and I, we were like, how are they going to wrap this up? And they did a good job. So it ended
Okay.
well. It's satisfying, but also you're like, holy fuck. So
Okay.
it's good. It's like it's sort of fairy tale, but then there's this huge like car crash that's waiting to happen. So you know, it's not a total fairy tale wedding. You know that there's impending doom, which is fun. I liked it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's just.
I would
So,
give it easily like an 80. Easy. I'm
wow.
with the audience.
Wow.
I'm with the audience. It's a B
You're
plus
more
show.
like a high 70s. Yeah. Pop what the audience is
No, I
saying.
wouldn't
All
go
right.
into 70s. I'd put it in 80s
You would
for
actually
sure.
give it an 80? Okay. But
Yeah.
you know, on the Wally report, like in the past year, I've only given like 2 shows even in the 80s, even the shows I like. Like I'm kind of a Scrooge.
Well, we're good
with
cop,
my
bad
scores.
cop. Remember, we're good cop,
Yeah,
bad cop.
yeah.
I'm like,
The
hey, way to go out there and make that TV show, everyone.
Yeah, the only shows that I even gave into the 80s was at all was, I believe, Bear season 2 when we did that, and then the Penguin before they fucked me and ruined the ending. I had the Penguin in
Endings
the 80s.
are hard, dude. Endings are hard.
Yeah. So until now, number 1 show of January 2025, Severance season 2, baby,
Yeah.
on Apple TV Plus. Now check
Yeah.
out these scores, bro. 98% on the tomato meter. I mean, that's like probably the highest score
Is this
I've
a
ever.
per episode score or a series score?
No, this is for the season. So season 2 score.
There's
so
only
far.
3 episodes.
Oh, yeah, but it's graded so far. But you know,
All right.
Tomatoes gets probably. I bet you they get the episodes fucking all of them before
Yeah.
like the public does, but maybe not. 80% on the popcorn meter. So the audience, they don't like it as much as what the tomato meter has said.
It's
giving
advanced.
it an 80. I'm giving
It's
it an
advanced.
81. So that's very unlike the Wally report. I never give 80s, but I think it's good enough. I mean, great performances by Adam Scott, Britt Lauer, I hope I'm saying her name right, Patricia Arquette, of course, John Turturro, amongst many others.
Walken.
Listen, yeah, I mean, I barely even put him in because you don't really get him featured. Yeah, but yeah, Christopher Walken's in the damn show. I mean, let's like, the show is just spectacular. It's so unique. There's nothing like it. It took me a while. I did not like it for a long time in the first season, and then it slowly got me into it. Yeah.
I have a theory that it's an allegory about the afterlife.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I grew up in Utah around a lot of religious folk, and
yeah.
the way that they present this like person here and person here very much reminds me of like, you could have this in the afterlife. If you only are like this today, you will live for eternity in the future, in the afterlife. That's my guess as to the allegory behind Severance.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. It does seem like this weird, they're almost like in this purgatory space of stuck in this office endlessly forever in these weird cubicles and these. So I sort of see what you kind of mean there. I do like the idea of it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I love that they never told us what the fuck they're doing there in microdata refinement.
I know you still don't know.
Yeah, dude, like that. Because you see their reactions, like you see her reaction when she finds it for the first time, and like her whole. Okay,
so anyway, Bronco, the last thing I'll just say is that the specific tone of the world is amazing. The overall creation of the just wild world, like you're saying, is fantastic. Yeah. The set design is award-winning. It's so amazing. Just what used to be weird to me, now I'm so used to. So I'm like, Ben Stiller directing these episodes is a fucking genius, like you said.
He's all time.
And I looked up who the creator was. Let's give a shout out to Dan Erickson, who's the creator. He's obviously, I don't know if we need to say genius yet, but he's a visionary. I mean,
cool.
Because I don't think this doesn't come, I had made a remark when I was watching this last night, is this doesn't come from a book. This doesn't come from some other genius writer. They just created this show. I mean, usually a lot of in present day, when you get something this amazing, it's from some sort of book series or something like that, right? With some freak writer.
Adapted, yeah.
Adapted, exactly. Where this is just like, it's fantastic, man. So I think that's all we need to say. Like, we've been waiting for years. Christopher Devine, who's our other co-host, has been like waiting. It's 2.5 to 3 years ago. So I'm glad you're on board. We're both, and so again, you're now also saying this was your number one show of the month as well.
For sure. I mean, there's nothing. I'm really excited for White Lotus to come out. I know you're going to talk about that. Mike White,
Yeah.
another just brilliant writer, I think. Orange County, all-time movie for me.
Yeah.
School of Rock, amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You know, he's the fucking guy in School of Rock. I had it when White Lotus first came out. We'll get to that in a second. I had to look up who the fuck was this guy. I'm like, oh my God, he's the fucking roommate from School of Rock. It's the best.
And in Orange County, he plays the English teacher who doesn't know. Dude, you got to go back and rewatch Orange County.
Let me go back and watch that because I haven't seen it since when it first came out, and I'm a huge Jack Black guy, so that's clean. So, I mean, I can't say enough good things. Here's the thing. I mean, I will say it's still a bit weird. There's some parts that are like, oh my God, but I'm so used to that now. And I just see the brilliance more than I used to be sort of irked by like, oh, what the fuck is happening in this show? But now, you know, it's worth the wait. It's amazing. You know, we're talking, and again, Apple TV Plus. All right. So really quickly, before we get to the February preview, the yearly count. Now we're in a new year. And this is unfair. Showtime now is going to be leading the way, but only because it was such a shitty month. So I count my top. I count my top 5 shows as we go along to prove what's the best service. Netflix won last year, just beating HBO Max barely for the most top 5 shows throughout the year. The new yearly count after 1 month. Showtime has 2, which is bullshit because both of them are not even that great.
The Agency, yeah.
Right. Netflix has 1 because of the OJ doc. Disney Plus has 1. And then also Apple TV Plus having 1 because of Severance. So as we go along, I count that up throughout the year, and then we crown a champion. Because we were asked in the beginning, and this goes to your question too, Bronco. My cousin, Luke S., had asked, what streaming service do I get? I can't get them all. And so we talk always, obviously, HBO, you have to have that as number 1. But then I thought, well, why not calculate how many shows are getting into my top 5 throughout the year, because that's also part of it, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So we're going to keep counting that down. Okay, February preview. We're almost done here, baby. Yes, let's take one last commercial break. And we're back to the show just to end with the finale of the February preview here, baby. Okay, January being a letdown. I'm very excited about a couple shows coming up. On February 13th, White Lotus season 3 on Max. Listen, season 1 to me was a masterpiece. Season 2 I didn't love as much, but it still was the Lotus. It still was great.
Yeah,
it wasn't like I thought the level of season 1, but it's so hard to beat when the first one's so great. How do you do it?
I loved in season 2 though how essentially the prostitutes were like the most ethical characters in the whole thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You know, they were the ones who were just like trying to do right by themselves and other people, and like, you know, I thought that was
is
good.
Funny. Yeah. So anyway, very excited about it. If people haven't watched it, it's an unbelievable show. Mike White, who we've talked about multiple times now, very excited. Thank God. And HBO will now come on our list, most likely. They're going to, I believe it's Thailand is the new setting.
Yeah.
Walter Goggins, who's one of my favorite guys. I think he's going to be in this.
Walton Goggins.
Thank you. Walton Goggins. Thank you. I'm glad you're around to correct me on this type of stuff. I need you on more sods now. February 13th, the same day, Cobra Kai season 6 part 3
Are you
on
liking
Netflix.
Cobra Kai? I like Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so like I've been bashed, you know, because other people think it's like listen, the first couple of seasons I thought were amazing. Then it goes downhill a little bit. It gets more and more cheesy over time.
Cheese, yeah. They learn karate in like a day. Yeah.
They learn karate in a day, but to me it's the cheese is, you know, it's going to be cheesy. You're watching an 80s action movie. Okay. It's not supposed to be a dramatic masterpiece. It's it's your guilty pleasure. You're having fun. And for that, they do it amazingly well. Yeah, and I love the characters
within the rules that they create.
Yes. And I thought that the beginning of the season 5 had been like, I could almost, that was at the point where I was like, maybe I can't watch this anymore. The cheese had taken over too much. And then it went into the beginning of season 6, but then they saved it. And I love the tournament. I don't love how are you fully caught up like me?
I don't think I'm fully caught up yet, but that because Alice and I have been wondering, like, what are we supposed to watch? And we got to go back and watch Cobra Kai. We've seen season 6, part 1. We need to see part 2,
Okay.
and now
Oh,
part
okay.
3 is
So
coming out.
part
So we're
2,
pretty much caught up.
part 2 was fucking amazing until
Awesome.
the end, and I have an issue with it. I have an
Endings
issue.
are hard, dude.
If you
Endings
were
are
caught
hard.
up on all the Wally Report sods, you would know this. It shows you're not a Just fan. No, I'm just kidding. I'm calling you out here. You're not a Just fan, Bronco. Okay, but this is what I'll say, just so you understand.
Yeah.
This is my analogy to how Cobra Kai, and it shouldn't be compared to such great dramatic pieces, but you get a movie like Django Unchained, and you might have a different opinion than me. To me, up until the final 20 minutes, it was one of the best Tarantino films ever. It was fucking amazing.
Really
and
good.
then all of a sudden, he has to do the classic Tarantino ending of him walking in and shooting 400 people. And I'm like, bro, don't make a dramatic masterpiece. And every single time you need to mow down a theater full of people. It's like, are you making a movie? I just don't. So anyway, what killed me a little bit at Cobra Kai was it was so perfect.
I think that's why Kill Bill 2 is so great. To your point, I think that's why Kill Bill 2 is so great. Because it's a love story, and it stays a love story.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Kill Bill was the one time I didn't care as much because it was supposed to be this fucking ninja kung fu movie.
But the second one was a love story.
Yes, right. So they to me, and I don't want to give it away what happens, but they've had brawls before, and it cheapens a little. I'm gonna stop here because you haven't seen it, which is unjust. Okay.
That high school brawl though in season 3
that was great. That was fine.
Sick.
But all I'm gonna say, and you text me as soon as you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away, but they ruined the ending a little bit for me. But they're coming back with a part 3 to hopefully stick the landing. Okay,
endings are hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. The following day, and I'm not a huge fan. Like, listen, Yellow Jackets season 3 is coming back on another Showtime show, but it's on Paramount Plus.
Oh my god.
I want to get your take. I only loved season 1. Season 2, I didn't like, and we stopped. I did not finish season 2. I kind of walked away. I'm like, what am I watching anymore?
Yeah.
But it's still just because the people come to the Wally Report. Where did you get to? Did you also have a similar journey?
So I have to protect, I have 2 little girls, and I'm trying to be the best dad that I can be. So I have to sort of protect my energy a little bit, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like I had just had my second kid, so I couldn't get into the Bear season 2. It was too stressful. So I need to go back now and watch Bear season 2.
Because it ends as a masterpiece, but continue. Right. Yes.
And then Yellow Jackets was another one. Like that came out when I was just about to have my first kid, and it was just dark, right? Because that's the world is like, just survive. But Squid Game is like that for me. Like I can't go in and just watch like ruthless shit like that.
Yeah.
You know? But they're good. Like I thought Yellow Jackets was good.
Okay. And then the final one, and I don't really care about this. We talked about it earlier. I'm doing due diligence to the fans so they know what's coming in the next month. Is on the 23rd of the month, 1923, season 2. I only liked 1883. I did not like the follow-up of 23. I got through about 4 episodes, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? But just so people know, that's a Paramount Plus show. I just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You're an 1883 guy. We talked about this earlier.
I have a problem with them killing the most compelling character, right? In 1883, Isabel May as this like wild child.
That's unjust that they did that.
She crushed.
She killed it. But that was what was sort of sorry.
It made that show though, right? Like it made that show.
Yes. Yeah.
But they also did this in Bloodline, right? They killed off the most compelling character in Bloodline, and then the only way you can have them is like through flashbacks, and it just so if you kill the most compelling character in the first season, it doesn't leave you a lot of space.
It's funny, and did you know that we had on the Wally Report the Bloodline creator on this show, and I got to talk to him about that.
Are you serious?
Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
This is why you're going to start keeping up with your goddamn Wally Report. So
hey man, you got me out here on a Sunday afternoon. I'm here. I'm all in. I'm invested.
No, I just I'm giving you crap about this. So Todd A. Kessler came on our show, and I got to talk to him all about Bloodline. And my uncle Tate, who we've been to his house, he directed an episode of Bloodline.
Tate is the best, dude. I love Tate.
It's so funny that you say that, because back in the day, I would have disagreed with you. I hated that character. And when he died, I was no one was happier in the world. And then when he came back as the ghost of that character,
Yeah, and
if
his
you will,
son, and
I
it was
liked
whack.
it. I actually liked it. Now rewatching it to get prepared for the Todd episode, maybe I'm older. I was like, oh shit, I did like this character. So now I'm with you, but I actually would have disagreed with you back in the day. I know
Kyle
what you're
Chandler,
trying to
though,
say.
dude. Kyle Chandler, man, what a
He's
G.
clean. Okay, so that's everything I have for February. Bronco, it's been amazing having you on. Hopefully this has been fun. I think you're locked in as a new top co-host because you actually know what the fuck's going on. You've seen shows, you have just opinions. So with that, thank you for listening to the Wally Report, the world's hottest podcast. Please subscribe, follow, comment, like, share, and blast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're blasting hard on the talk, and we're heavy on the gram, baby. At the Wally Report. That's at the Wally Report. We've actually been posting amazing video clips from our episodes on our social channels and important new show launch information. So don't miss out. And please make sure to comment on Spotify, comment on Instagram, comment on the talk, comment on YouTube. We love the comments, the interactions with the fans. And so with that, Bronco, we're going to jam out to our world famous tune one last time.
Cue that metronome. That bass is clean, dude. That bass is clean.
Carl's going to be pissed, baby. Carl needs to get on now. He's going to be pissed about that.